All right, so I'm starting. Good day, Madam Asriani and anyone who is watching this video. We are members of Group 8 and we are doing PEC102 at MSU in Shah Alam. And I am here with my fellow group mates, that is Audi, Jorges, Lina Sharini, and Ainu. So today we're going to do a reflection of all like the weekly activities that we did during the course of, I think, about 5 weeks. So each group had an activity that they had to do. So these were all based according to like creative thinking skills. So we're going to make like a reflection, which is like individual, what we learned and what we managed to attain from everything that we learned during the course of the activity progress. So from now, we're going to just read the instruction for the reflection that we're about to embark on. So here we have each student, that is us, the 5 of us, each student need to discuss among our team members about the questions given. So the questions are down below. I'll read them after. Okay, and then we're going to need the students to record the video, which is what we're doing right now. And then each student needs to create Zoom or face-to-face meeting, which is what we have done. So that's how you can see us. Anyway, then moving forward, we have each group member has to answer all the questions given. So amongst all the 4 questions that are given in our reflection instruction, each of us has to answer all 4 questions, right? And then we have the 4th part, which is the end of the discussion. The students, each of the members need to evaluate their teammates based on their presentation and ideas of the reflection. So amongst us, we also need to evaluate each of our teammates, like how did we do? So the evaluation is ranging from 1 to 5 or 4. Is it 5 guys or 4? 5 being the highest. Okay, so 1 to 4 and 4 being the highest. And then we've got a video recording which must be uploaded. All right, that's just the instruction and then when it's going to be due. All right, so before all right, so without getting too much of your time, I'm going to start with our reflection questions. And the first one who's going to start answering our reflection questions is Audi Sarah. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll proceed with the first question. So what have you achieved by participating in the weekly activities? Okay, I personally, I would like to start by telling you guys that since the pandemic started in 2020, I spent a lot of time alone. I spent a lot of time in my room. So when I started taking degree back in the 2022, actually 2021, in September, I don't feel like myself. Like I can hardly speak again. I can hardly present again. Like it's getting awkward and, you know, like the anxiety, it doesn't feel the same anymore. But since I participate in these weekly activities, which is PEC, my friends have they have organized a really interesting activity, which I think like we can all play along and have fun. And at the same time, we are slowly gaining back our soft skills in terms of the communication and how we prepare the activities together, like how we have our meetings to give our own opinions, what we feel, what we feel like we should do, and how we divided the parts together. And I think besides that, I have also make some new friends in terms since I didn't make anything for the past 2 years, and it's really interesting to get to know people from different backgrounds. Like you make new friends, obviously. And besides that, I think that now I am less awkward when speaking in front of the class. So that is all for question 1. That is my answer for question 1. So should I continue with question 2? Oh, question 2. Okay, okay. All right. So what have you benefits by organizing an activity for your classmates? Okay. Actually, I am the type. What we had riddles, right? We had riddles for our activity. My group and I, we make some riddles and they have to answer it by the form of drawing. So actually, like it's nothing new, but when you make it together, like when you try and make things together, I think that's the most important part because you learn how to work with group mates again. and you learn, you are actually trying to make people having a good time by playing your activity. Obviously, I wasn't there while we were presenting, but I have gained experience of making the slides again, and I actually are practicing my slides making skills at Canva. Thank you to Canva. Okay, so now the question number 3. Describe the experience of you work together with your group mates to complete the project. Explain the obstacles faced in completing the project and the strength identified. Okay, so the obstacles, there were not much obstacles, but obviously we were all strangers. Like I just knew them from this semester actually, except for Michelle. I've met Michelle in semester 1, but we never worked together before. So when we try to decide what activity should we do for everyone, I think like the obstacles came when all of us have our own ideas, but we ended up choosing one activity that we think, or like for example, I was suggesting for us to use an application, but then I heard Ainul have a better idea that she said, oh, maybe we can change it into making some riddles and make them answer in the picture form. Like I think like we can the tolerance we have high tolerance towards each other, and we are very open to any ideas, which I think that is the strength identified while we are grown enough to allow ideas for the project. And then for the last question, how PEC has influenced in your lifelong learning. Okay, I'm the type of person who believe that in order for us to be decent enough to be picked in the working industry, like the soft skills is one of the most important things. Like nowadays, they don't even look to your result anymore. Like the most important thing is that they want to see how you work in group. They want to see like your experience in terms of this organizing an activity, or how you work with people, how aware of you of the current situation. So this is the most important part of any universities, I think. Like MSU has really made a good choice for making PEC as a subject, which you can hardly find in any university. So this benefits both academic and soft skills. So by participating and working in groups, I think like this has contributed a lot, and this is already so beneficial to me and my group mates. That is all from me, and I'll pass to Michelle again.
Thank you so much, Audi. That was actually very insightful, because it also just made me remember all the things we went through. That was actually very nice.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to give this chance to Ainu, so that she also gives us her own reflection and what she had to go through during the course of the activities.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. So basically, I have achieved tons of skills during this PEC. So one of the crucial achievements by participating in the weekly activities is that it opened my eye, and then it showed me a new perspective of having fun with your classmates. Because before this, we're going physically for PEC classes, and then now we're like focusing on the online classes. And actually, at first, I was a bit skeptical with online classes activities with PEC, because it would be harder. But it is quite fun for the activities. Moving on to the next question is that, what have you benefits by organizing an activity for your classmates? So my benefits would be that a new point of view from me, like it helps me to open my eyes that the diversity of for example, the culture in my groups, like how my management skills, because our PEC class is from 5 to 7, right? It's actually the time where we are busy preparing for dinner. So my benefit would be from this class and from my classmate is that everyone is understanding, and then we finish our activities right on time, like there's no delaying. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Describe the experience of you work together with your group mates to complete the project. Okay, one of the obstacles that we face is that because we have no physical classes for this class, so we have the tendencies to have overlapping time schedule, where surprisingly, although we all are busy with our classes and our schedule, but we manage to find a time where we can like conduct and discuss for our project. And I think that is one of the obstacles, but it became one of our strengths because we have unite and discuss thoroughly for the activities. So moving on, for the fourth question is how PC has influenced my lifelong learning. So basically for the academics is that this PC creative thinking skills helps me through the activities that has been conducted by other groups. It helps me to think in another point of view, in another perspective. Like all this while I've been thinking like from the A route, from the A way, but actually we can go for the B route, you know. And for the skills as well, like thinking outside of the box, I really appreciate this PEC classes and my teammates as well. I really appreciate how we all have worked together to accomplish the projects and all of the weekly funny moments where we discuss who's gonna represent our group. And I really love how even though it's not physical, it is just a virtual, but I can feel the bond within our group mates. So that's all for me. So I'm gonna ask this question back to Michelle.
All right. No, thank you so much. I knew like you actually just brighten up the entire thing. But anyway, so it's my turn now to like just give the answers to the reflection questions that we have. And okay, so for me, it's like one of those things where, you know, when I joined the PEC, like Audi was rightfully saying that, like, you know, you're meeting different people and you don't even know who these people are. You don't know how they think. You don't know how they do their work. So it's a matter of you need to reach a certain understanding. And judging by the fact that we've been virtual for almost like 2 years, you know, we're still virtual right now. So you don't know how it's going to be like. And I remember my first time in class, I actually met all of you except for Audi. Obviously, I think she had gone home, but I had met her prior to that. And I was like, okay, this is my first time like in an actual PEC classroom. So I didn't even know what I was going to do. And I remember I sat next to Jurgis, I think the first time. And then we moved and then we sat somewhere else. And then Ainu came and she had a yellow bag. You know, everything was just it was just new being in a classroom, because the last time I was in a classroom was in high school. But to answer the questions given, the first one being, what have you achieved by participating in the weekly activity? So like, if you know, just like you, all of you guys can actually vouch for this, our weekly activities were very, very creative. So in all of that, the first thing that I probably like achieved, the first thing that was very important to me was the skill of interaction, because I managed to interact with a lot of people. I don't know how many we are in our PEC class. I think about 50 or more, I'm not sure, but we have like 12 groups with 5 people each. And all of us come with different ideas. So for me, it was interaction skills. I had to learn how to communicate as well with these people, and I achieved like creative skills on how to solve problems, depending on the game that we're doing. Like, for example, group 1 did the emoji game, and we had to work with emojis and stuff like that. And I remember also another group, group 5, that did like hangman. And I remember being the person that went to present for a group, and you had to use all your brain skills, literally, like your creative thinking skills. You have to think about, when last did you hear about this? When last did you not hear about this? So I also managed to learn like how to interact with people like that. And then also problem solving skills. Guys, like there was a lot of solving that had to be done in most of our activities. And you need to be fast with your calculations. You need to be fast with your answers. You need to be like fast with your thinking. So for me, I also managed to achieve that skill. And then looking at the teamwork part of it, being able to work together as a team, like us as a group, working together, understanding that, okay, this weekly activity needs this and this weekly activity needs that, and being able to actually vouch for each other and say, okay, Michelle is the one who's doing this today, or Audi is the one who's doing this today, and we're going to see who's going to win. And I think Audi won, the activities between group 9, I'm not sure, one of the last activities that were conducted. Right. So you find that like there was also teamwork in all of that, which I managed to get from just the weekly activities, And then to answer the second question, what have you benefited by organizing an activity for your class? Okay, so in this, I think the first thing that I benefited was empathy. Right. So in that manner, it was just being able to empathize with the next person. Even first of all, my teammates, like all of you here, I was able to like listen to what you guys wanted as well. And I was like, okay, yes, we can consider that. And then empathize with you. How is Audi feeling when she's suggesting this doodle game? And just understand that, okay, this is where they are when they suggested this. And that also helped me in that manner, like empathize with you guys in all the ways possible. Then I also extended that empathy to our group members, like when we're doing the activities. I also managed to do that. So I benefited in that way when we're organizing our activity. And then being open-minded, right? All right, so I think we have about 10 minutes left, so we can resume later. But anyway, the other thing that I managed to like attain by organizing our activities was being open-minded, right? So in that manner, it's like Aud is bringing her own suggestion, and then Dergis is bringing her own suggestion, and Lena is bringing her own suggestion, and Ainu is bringing their own suggestion. So now I also had my own suggestions, like what Aud was rightfully saying earlier, like, and then just that idea of being open-minded to be able to listen to other people, just not to say, okay, my idea has to go, I had to open and say, okay, what is she actually saying? And I had to listen to what they were saying with respectfully. So that also allowed me to be open-minded in that manner as well. And that built like, my strengths as a person, and it improved my communication skills. Right, because we had to communicate with each other, like who is going to make the report for this, who's going to make the proposal for this, who is going to make the rules for this, and who's going to design, maybe the presentation slides for this, and who's going to run the program, who's going to do this. So communication, was also attained by me during those activities, because we had to understand each other, who's going to take this role, who's going to take the time, who's going to do this, which was very, very good for me. I think it also allowed me to gain like delegation, the power to delegate work to other people. Like, you can't do everything alone. Teamwork, together everyone achieves more. So we find that like together we managed to do what we did because we allowed each other to work in our respective parts, which gave us like, a higher, an upper hand, which was, I think, was a good thing, right? And then we've got the third question, which says, describe the experience of how you work together with your team group mates to complete the project. Explain the obstacles faced in completing the project and the strengths identified. All right, so here I think I'll first talk about the obstacles. So just like any other group, I think there's a lot that can be talked about when it comes to this. But I think for me, one of the experiences that I had was probably like the time management, right? Because there was that thing that like, we are different. We are literally people from different faculties, we're doing different programs, we have different timetables. All right, so we're talking that out. What is this? Derg is in a final year, I think, and you find that like you are in this room where you are never going to be available at the same time. So you find that was one of the obstacles, time management. Like we couldn't have enough time for us to actually meet probably at the same time, and that was so difficult for us. But then we also use that as a strength, because we managed to manage our times despite our timetables being different. We managed to still manage that and walk towards that obstacle, and we met and we did everything accordingly, which I think was a good thing. And we all managed to talk to each other in that manner as well. The other thing was probably availability. All right, so we're saying that especially now because of Ramadan and stuff like that, you find that maybe Audi is praying, or you find that Ainu is praying, right? So we had to find a person who could fill their position, maybe with a group activity that has to be completed. So you find that I had to maybe cover for that, or Dergis or Lena, someone had to cover their part during activities, because maybe they're going to pray, or maybe they have to prepare for like Easter or something. So that also had to be considered. So that issue of time management and then also availability, those are some of the obstacles that we did face as a group, but we managed to work through them. Like we managed to just use those threats into opportunities. We really did. And then that also explains the strengths that we have. Our strengths were also our threats, because we managed to work towards them together at the same time, which I highly think was made us where we are right now. It got us where we are today, and it was very beneficial for our group as a whole, according to me, obviously. And then the last question being, how did PEC influence in your lifelong learning, benefits both academics and skills? All right, so academically, I will come back to the idea of time management, good communication skills, right? I was benefited when it comes to time management. I knew where I had to be and when I had to be there. So this means that I learned also the power of just writing maybe a to-do list and knowing, okay, I need to do this at what time. And like I knew rightfully said, and also Audi, our PEC class is like from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And I have worked at 7 p.m. Literally, I start work at 7 p.m. So I needed to work with that. Like as soon as I'm leaving class, I'm going into work. So also there was also the idea of time management. Like how am I going to manage my time properly, so that by the time I have to go to work, I would, my head would be prepared for all of that as well. So time management skills, I think, was one of the things that I managed to learn. And then communication skills as well, and not just with myself, but with the other teammates as well. Like, when we were dealing with whatever we were dealing with during our activities, you had to communicate with them, so I also had to, I learned that, and that benefited me in terms of academic and skills. And I feel like all the benefits that I got from this PEC, where we can match them, we can really reflect them for both academic and lifelong skills. Like I'm going to take all these skills into the corporate world. I'm going to use them maybe when I go for my internship. I'm going to use them maybe when I get a job. So regardless, I cannot even separate the two, because these are skills that I've learned for a long time. I also managed to learn maybe editing skills, with Audi. Audi was doing her Canva, which is very nice. So from that, I saw as well, her editing skills, and I was like, oh, okay, that's nice, So it also made me want to design my Canva slides like that. I'm like, that is very unique. So I managed to learn that as well. And then another skill that is lifelong is organization, just being organized. Guys, I heard you had to be organized, especially when it comes to I was saying earlier, how someone might not be available tomorrow, or might not be available at the time of the activity. So we had to be organized in that way. Our group had to have a representative to be able to work, with other groups as well. So being able to have that skill also allowed me, to learn it, and also value it, how much organization is very important. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to attend any of those, activities that were being held. And then we have competitiveness. All right. This, I learned it in a very good way. I learned the skill of being competitive, or the skill of competition, because, sometimes you are being set against another group. So let's say our group and maybe group one, we had an activity that had to have a winner in the end. So I went towards that. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to leave this without winning this. I think most of the activities that I was part of, I won them because I wanted to win. I mean, no one wants to lose. I'll give you that. If anyone says they want to lose, they're lying to you. Right. So I also learned that. And that was like such a good thing for me. Like I managed to understand, how competition in a good way, not like ambition type of way where you are too, I'm like, oh yeah, I want it. Now it was like, I need this. I need to win this for my group. I need to get to this for my group. So for me, that's also something that I managed to attain. So regardless, like, besides the pros and the cons that came with this, overall, creative skills really did what it had to do for me. It really meshed its name, creative skills. I managed to learn all these creative skills, and right now I can edit Canva slides. I'll give you that. So that's a good thing for me. So that's just everything that I have to say, and I will leave this time. Who is our next? Okay, sorry. I'll leave this time to Durgis. All right. Thank you so much.
Hi guys, I'm Durgeshwari Ravi from Master in Law and Commerce. For this PEC102 creative thinking skill, today I would like to share with you all my experience of completing the weekend task that conducted by us and our fellow classmates. In this weekend task, I have achieved to solve critical thinking problems that created by our classmates in their weekly activities, games such as quizzes, code, guessing words by drawing when I participating in the weekly activities. These kind of activities that conducted by our classmates make me to use my critical thinking skill to play the games that created by them, and it also helped me to improve my critical thinking skill, and I also have achieved to show my talents when participating in the weekly activities. These weekly activities help me to show my talents to our classmates, and it also had become a best opportunity for me to show my talent to others after my school life. Moreover, I have achieved to communicate bravely with some other new students from other classes without afraid. Normally, I am a scared person who always scared to talk with new persons, but these weekly activities, games create me a space to communicate with some other new students easily without scare, and I also achieved to break my fear of talking to new persons by participating in these weekly activities, and I also achieved to improve my time management by participating in the weekly activities games, because the weekly activities games that conducted by our classmates are for only 1 hour. In that 1 hour, they need to conduct at least one game. So as a participant, I need to play the game only on that time. That made me to arrange my time also, and it helped me to improve my time management skill to arrange my time in proper way to participate in the weekly activities that conducted by our classmates. And from organizing an activity for our classmates, I gained new knowledge about how to conduct a game in online by organizing an activity for my classmates. Before this, I never had an experience of conducting a game in online. This is my first time I conduct a game in online, especially for my PC subject. Normally, I organize a face-to-face game for my PC subject, but at this time, because of the COVID pandemic, we all stay at home, right? Because of that, we all need to do an online game. I also prepare the online game by getting a guideline from YouTube to create and conduct an online game, and I also get a chance to know our classmates' talents and their expectation regarding the games during they participate in the game that we organize. At the time we organize the game, I able to see our classmates' talents by their ranking in the game, and they also give their full involvement and support for the game that conducted by us. From organizing that game, I also able to know their expectation regarding the games that conducted for the weekly activities. And it was a great experience. I worked together with y'all to complete this weekend activity, because in this weekend activity, y'all was helped me to complete it perfectly, and you all guys give me a lot of support by searching for information regarding these weekly activities. From these weekly activities, I also learned the importance of group cooperation to finish this task successfully. Each of you had played important role in this weekly activity. Without your cooperation, it's nothing else, because Your cooperation are making me so supportive and confident to complete this task perfectly and easier. And the obstacles that faced by us to complete this weekend activity are at the starting we don't know how to create the riddle game because we are not have any experience of creating a online game before this, right? So we use some guidelines from the YouTube to collect some information regarding this. Then we try to create it by using Canva. And I also face a struggle during conducting the weekly activity, which means in my place due to the heavy rain my line was suddenly become not stable and slow. So I had some connection problem during that time. But because of the God's grace, I able to manage it by using my hotspot line to conduct the weekend activity. It makes me to become disappointed because the time that I took to fix it back to conduct the activity is quite long, and it also makes me to become tension. But I took that as a lesson for the future activities that I need to do in my future for other PC subjects. These are the obstacles that faced by us to complete this project, and the strength that we identify from this weekend activity are we all have a creative thinking skill to create a riddle game with our own idea that related to the weekend activity and the theme given to us, which is doodle, to complete it successfully. From this weekend activity, we also able to identify our critical thinking skill, which make us to think critically and deeply to guess the riddle questions and to complete this weekend activity perfectly and on time without any issues. PC under critical thinking skill as influence in my lifelong learning by makes me to think about a game or sport before, during, and after play it. It was helped me to play that game with full of interest and make me to think about the strategy of playing the game to win it easier, and it also give me some motivation to become a good player in future, because normally before this when I started to play a game means I just play for fun and I do not have any interest or motive to win in game. But this time, after I take the PC subject, it gives me some strength and I want to give me some confidence also to make me play with confidence level, and I also would make me to give some tough to my competitors also. And I think it will be a good thing that happen in my life after this PC subject. So I hope in future also it will be continued. And next, the PEC subject also makes me to take decision in my own during participate in the academic competitions without getting others' opinion. And sometimes I always ask with my friends and family members to get some idea and opinion before I started to participate in academic competitions, because in my mind I always thought that their decisions are always much better than me. But after I studied this subject, I decided to take decision in my own for prove myself and improve my thinking skill to win the competition. And the PEC subject influenced me to take decision in my own and with my full of confidence. And moreover, the PEC subject also makes me to give me some motivation to be open-minded and tell my own opinion and ideas in group discussion or meeting to make the discussion to become more effective to take some important decision. When we start to think open-minded means our thinking skill will be developed, and we also started to give our own ideas and opinion to others. Normally before I learned PC subject, I always scared to give my opinion to others, especially in some meetings and discussion. But after I learned this subject, I started to become brave to give my opinion and ideas, and I also started to be open-minded with others also. That's all from me. Thank you for the opportunity, guys.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't see it earlier. No, you're welcome. Regis, that was actually very, very good. It made me emotional a bit, especially when you say that like you don't know how to, talk to people. Sometimes I was just like, oh, but it's okay. Then moving forward, we have Lina. So Lina, you can just give us, your reflection as well.
So hi, my name is Lina Shainisiwa Okay, the first question is what have you achieved? So, what I have achieved is firstly teamwork, where we all join all the activities together and work and help each other. Also, got to gain new knowledge by participating different types of activities, of creative thinking activities. So the second question is benefits. So the benefits, a chance to a chance to create a fun activity games along with classmates. Also got to engage with a group of people and get to know them through these games. So the third question is experience. So the obstacles, there were no any obstacles as we worked in a team. This team was really very good and cooperative. So the strength that I identify is when we work in a group, it will be much more easier if the group is cooperative. So we had much fun together. So the fourth one is benefits both an academic and skills. So an idea of creative thinking solution to problem an idea of creative thinking solution to a problem involved. Also to face different type of challenges. That's all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Lina Sharini. I realized that Audi and I maybe did not introduce ourselves properly. My name is Micho Moyakofa and I am studying Bachelor in Law and Commerce at MSU in Shah Alam. And Audi Sarah?
Yeah, my name is Audi Sarah Bitiazan and I am taking Bachelor in Law and Commerce, like Michelle. And yeah,
yes, okay, so that's just everything. Now I don't know what I was supposed to do after this.
Say goodbye.
We need to do evaluation. I think we need to evaluate. I don't know if the evaluation is happening here right now.
I think the evaluation will be happen after we upload this video in YouTube. Later, madam will be give a form. We need to fill up that form with the the percentage that we show, right?
Okay. Boleh. All right. Thank you so much.
No, Michelle, you need to say it in this. You need to say it in the Bornean slang. It's bully, not bole. It's bully.
Bully.
That's like how you say bully. That's how you pronounce it.
Bully.
Yeah.
Bully.
Oh my god, that's just too much information from me. I can't. But anyway, all right. So thank you guys so much for allowing me to, do this with you guys. Like, I'm so grateful to have met all of you through this PEC102. So just to conclude, this is just everything. This is like all we have to say about PEC. All in general, I think it was very beneficial to everyone. So that's just everything. So now we end our discussion, and I don't know if anyone has anything to say. No? Yes?
I have something to say. You're not recording anymore, right?
I am. I'm still recording.
Okay. So like for our individual work, right? We have to do 4 activities. Like we have to do 4
Wait,
activities.
hold up. Should I stop
own.
recording? Should I stop recording?
Yeah. Stop recording.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be in the video.
All right. So I'll stop recording now.
Okay. So like,